In an era of information overload, being able to read well, and enjoy reading is more important than ever before. Once a child can read, it is a gift for life that no one can ever take away. Before a child can read, however, they need to become familiar with sounds, letters that make up language, and in the case of South Africa, English. I have with me in studio visiting Letterland trainer from the UK, Leslie White. Letterland is an early reading system that is 48 years old and is used in 111 countries around the world. It has been popular in many schools in South Africa for the past 25 years. Leslie, what is Letterland?
Well, let's start with the easy ones, shall we? Letterland is a system for helping young children to learn about the sounds letters make in words. We make sure it's fun. We want to motivate those children to enjoy that learning experience and give them a gift that, as you say, will last them forever and a day.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. But what makes Letterland different to other early reading systems?
We use characters. We use things that capture the children's imagination. So we're very much about engaging the children. Bright, colourful images, characters that help the children remember that Sammy Snake likes to make the sound they hear at the beginning of Sammy and Snake. You can see in this book we have Sammy, and we can even think about the shape of that letter.
Okay.
Starting at Sammy's head, stroking slowly down to his tail, you've got everything you need to know about the shape of the letter. We can tell a story about the character and think about him slithering into words with that sound. Words like sun, sea and sand. So bright and colourful, lots of information that the parents, teachers can use to then stimulate and motivate the children.
Okay, and then you're also using multisensory learning. So, for example, I just touched the letter and I learned how to write it with my finger before I even touched the page with a pen.
Very important that children don't just think about writing in terms of picking up a pen and making that shape on paper. There are so many ways that we can make shapes. See shape in sand or in Play-Doh or plasticine. Everything,
using all the senses.
Everything we can touch.
And you're linking sound with shape. So there are visual cues and auditory cues at the same time.
That's what phonics is all about. Phonics is the study of the sound and the shape and how they come together. We call the sound the phoneme, each individual sound, and there are actually 44 in the English language. Some people might even say there are 42 or 46. That's regional accents, and you'll notice that my accent is different from your accent.
But I think this is important to note because parents think of letters of the alphabet as being 26 letters of the alphabet, and we talk about A, B, C. Now, that is not how children in the early childhood phase learn about sounds and letters. They learn in phonics, so it's A, B, C, D, F, G. Very different.
Very different, but very important, because the consonants B, C, D never ever start any of those words. Think about see. I can see you. I can even go and paddle in the sea. But actually, the third letter of the alphabet at the beginning of cat and cake, you're not hearing anything to do with the C sound. You're hearing the K sound. And that's what young children need to learn about. They need to know and understand.
They need to isolate the different sounds and then learn how to put them together.
That's what phonemic awareness, listening for those sounds. Listening for sounds, and parents can help young children listen for the sound and identify the sound of a bell or of a car. So there are stages of pre-reading that we need to cover before we even get as far as identifying those sounds in words. But then we want to use those sounds to put them together. I don't go through life going k, d, b. It has no meaning at all.
We combine things to make something that means something. But what I love about Letterland, and I have to tell you, both my children went through the Letterland program in their preschool and foundation phase years, is that there is a personal experience with the letter. And there's a personal experience with the sounds. And I know you do actions so that children actually get a kind of aesthetic experience of the sounds as well. Can you show us one of those actions?
For all the letters, we have sounds. So Clever Cat has whiskers. that the children can stroke. Harry Hatman, he makes the sound on his hand.
So you can feel the...
It makes your hand hot. And hand begins with that same sound. So we're hearing the on our hand.
And it makes your hand hot. And what about when we blend two sounds together, like s and h? Because you've got a lovely Letterland story here, which will show up on the screen.
We do have a lovely Letterland story, because what happens in Letterland is children never have to unlearn anything that they have already learnt. And so when we have the S and the H together, we're starting with the knowledge that the children already have. They know about Harry Hatman, who's hiding behind this letter that they're going to see in print. So Harry makes the sound. Sammy, we've said, makes the sound. Put the two of them together, that's not what we hear at all. We don't hear s. The two are coming together to make the sh sound, because Harry hates noise. He hops around Letterland with bare feet. Sammy slithers, making that loud s noise. It's like children. Children who have always made a noise. Parents and teachers who tell them to hush. So we get the combination of the sh sound when we have these two letters together.
And you do this in a really fun way, so that it's almost incidental learning. This is not a lesson, so to speak. It's an experience that children can file away in their memory banks forever. And I remember distinctly dressing my child up as Harry Hatman for a Letterland day. And I believe you've got Clever Cat in this country, and schools can hire Clever Cat to come and do a Letterland day for them.
That's absolutely right.
Absolutely
Clever Cat
awesome.
would be delighted to join them. Yes.
And Leslie, just one final point. How can parents support their children's reading journey? I know you've got a little trick to do with the arm in terms of creating words. Can you show us what to do?
Of course we can. What we're doing is we're putting our sounds, our imaginary sounds, onto our arm. And so for Harry's hat, the sounds we can hear are the h, the a, and the t. And we place those sounds on our arm. H, a, t. And then we have to blend them together. We're blending the h with the a and getting a ha. And then we come down to the bottom to get the t. So it's hat as those sounds run together. And that's what they're trying to do. Make them, it's what we call synthetic phonics, blending those sounds together so that the children can then read words.
So it couldn't be more fun if you tried. And you've got these amazing resources on the table here, and I know they're all available in South Africa now, which is fantastic. So that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thanks, Leslie, for reinforcing the importance of reading and for showing us that it can be such fun. Parents, please remember that there is far more to reading and writing than a child just learning their alphabet as we know it. In the foundation phase from 3 to 8 years of age, they benefit far more when we use the phonetic sounds such as a, b, k, d, e, f, g, rather than ABC. For links to what was discussed on the show today, visit NikkiBush.com and click on the NikkiBushTV tab. On that note, I dare you to go and change the world, one parent, one teacher, one leader at a time.